Round 4 of the 1966 World Sportscar Championship brings us to Sicily for the legendary Targa Florio, a flat-out road race through mountains, villages, and endless corners carved into the landscape itself.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to what is to be one of the hardest races I think I'm ever going to have to compete in. Not only is it the legendary Targa Florio, but it's also raining. As it was back in 1966, I believe it was intermittent rain, so this rain will be on and off for the duration of this race as I nearly lock up and go off essentially on the first left-hander. This is going to be a real test. And because of its difficulty, to make it as easy as possible for myself, just to get a lap in. There's no tyre wear, there's no fuel consumption, and I have had to turn damage off. As much as I've tried several practice laps of this, at this point in time, I'm not going to be able to get a full lap in. Especially as I made it much harder for myself with trying to replicate the weather as it was back then, as we understeer in these damp conditions. We've got one of the 906s right up behind us, and I believe the 906 did win overall. It was the Ferrari Dinos and the 906s that were the quickest in real life in 1966, which is why a lot of the teams with the bigger cars, like the 330 P3, which one did race here. Well, I think they had two, didn't they? But not. In fact, only one Ford GT40 turned up for that race as we are struggling to get on the power, and as one of the Dinos decides to join in our little traffic jam here, which I'm sure there'll be a lot of throughout this lap. But yes, only one Ford GT40 turned up, because only one of the teams was mad enough to do this was the Ford France team with it was Guy Ligier, wasn't it? And Breeder as well. So we have decided that we shall borrow one of the Ford France cars, and we have teamed up with none other than Bob Grossman, who we've raced with at Daytona. And the other reason why we've teamed up with Bob Grossman is because he also raced for Ford France at the upcoming Le Mans. So it all ties in together, it all makes sense. Obviously we're not going to score points in our current car with Peter Sutcliffe, so we'll just get some points for this Ford France car we're in, which is fine. We persuaded Peter Sutcliffe to do the 1,000 kilometres of Monza, which he wasn't going to do, which he hadn't done in real life, and he said he wasn't going to do this one, which is fair enough. So we should just have to score some points, and also it's more for the experience, really. I'd really like to do this race, so it doesn't matter who it's with. We're in a pretty good point scoring position in the championship in our class anyway, and even if the other Ford France car wins, it's not really going to affect the scoreboard that much. It certainly will for the P1 class with the Ferrari Dinos and the Porsche 906s, because this race is full of them, and they are certainly going to be the fastest car out there. They're just that much lighter, maybe slightly less power than what we currently have, but in these wet conditions, the equaliser when it comes to putting the power down, yeah, that's actually going to be beneficial for them. So as we've seen, the 906 normally we're much faster, at places like Daytona, Sebring, Monza. But on a tight technical track like this, those cars are going to be much quicker than what we are. Even some of the sort of lower GT classes, I think, will probably have an upper hand on us. But we'll try and do our best. Like I said, really this is just for the experience of trying to drive the legendary Targa Florio. And I say, it's an absolutely incredible circuit and an incredible mod. Once again, link will be in the description for this. The amount of time and effort that's been put into this mod, it's absolutely beautiful, with all the weather conditions and everything, and just the little details on track. It is superb, so I'll highly recommend. As we now got 2 Ferrari Dinos behind us. So the way this race is going to work is going to be slightly different to how we've done the other races, and probably slightly different to how the race was actually run in real life, because it was a 10-lap race. Obviously we're not going to do 10 laps because it's about a 40-minute lap, so you're looking it's just not feasible, and I would not survive. So seeing as each car has 2 drivers, each car will get 2 laps. 1 lap with one driver, 1 lap with another driver, and then I'll take the lap times both the drivers, make an average, and then whoever has the best average lap time wins. So effectively like a rally stage. It's so even though we're not really fighting for position with these cars behind, obviously I am slowing up their first lap time, so their average will be slightly slower, although I don't think it's going to make much of a difference because they will be much faster over the rest of the lap. Whenever they do get past us, I'm not trying to hold anyone up, but I am also trying to, as I was looking in my mirror at that car thinking he's going for a dive, and we've clipped our first wall, which actually, I was going to say we're a decent way in. We're not a decent way in at all. It's incredibly early on. But yeah, this is the 45-mile circuit, the 72-kilometre circuit, which was no means the biggest the circuit was. I think the biggest it was it something silly like the Grande circuit was 1,080 kilometres, which is 670 miles, which is how is that even a race? How's that possible? That is mad. And I say, even this one we're on now, the 45-mile circuit, you know, compared to the Nürburgring, you know, Nürburgring 24 hours, that's a short lap, doing 8 minutes. Try and do between sort of 30 to 40 minute lap times. As the rain does seem to be easing up now, and that, I think that Dino's helping us a bit. We can sort of use his braking points. Just using all the engine revs to try and get us to stop. So yeah, so there were 2 full trans cars in this race. There was only one in real life. But other than that, I say it's a pretty big field of the P1 class of car, which is Dinos and Porsches. There are, I think, 2 P2 cars, which is the Ferrari 330 P3 and the Bizzarini. Am I remembering that correctly? Yes, the Bizzarini GT Strada 5300. So they should pick up some good points as long as they finish. interesting to see if we'll see it out on the circuit. As the rain has stopped, and it is clearing up now, and the circuit's a little bit damp, but it's only drying out quickly here. So hopefully we can go a little faster. Again, it's just trying to remember at what part of the circuit I'm at the moment. I am sort of just doing it by what I can see, and having a car ahead definitely did help, so maybe it would be beneficial to let that other Ferrari go. There will be plenty more traffic to come up behind us. I think we're one of the first few out. It'll be interesting to see how many of these cars finish. I mean, there is no damage, as long as they don't go wildly off the circuit after respawn. Everyone should get at least 2 laps in. Yeah, the race itself in 1966 did seem to be quite an exciting one. It was definitely the Porsche 96s and the Ferrari Dinos were the top runners. It was the Scuderia. Oh, as we gone wide and let them through. I say let them through. He's gone through. Yeah, it's the Scuderia Filippinetti Porsche. It's sort of a privateer, but backed by factory support, who ended up winning it. Not too close, or not too far behind, was the 206 Dino of Goucher and Baghetti, as we've decided to run into the Ferrari. As we head back up the other side of the valley. Oh no, okay, sorry. It's alright. Go on. No, you're not. Okay. It's alright, it's not my car, so it's fine. I'm sure we'll never get asked to race before France again. Oh dear, there's the arm coat. Yes, I was thinking I recognised that name, the Filippinetti, but it was who we were racing in. Was it Sebring or Monza? They were fighting up with us in the full GT. So that team obviously has a couple of cars. That was Willie Maurice and Herbert Müller who were the winners in 1966, followed by Goucher and Baghetti in their Dino, and then it was another Porsche of Vincenzo Arena and Antonio Ucci in their Porsche. And it was Alfa Romeo Giulia TZ2, so that just shows that if what would be the lower category cars, if they stayed out of trouble, you could pick up a very, very good result. But yeah, sort of this race was stacked more with Alphas and Ferraris and Fiats and Abarths, and more so than the Monza 1,000 kilometres, which you would have thought it would be perhaps the other way around. But I guess you got more of a chance of getting a good result from such a sort of the risk-reward ratio is off the chart, so you only got to finish really and hope that everyone else has fallen to the wayside. We've got another 906 behind us. I didn't think it'd be long before another fast car would catch up with us. We're still heading up and up the side of this valley. I wish I could tell you at what point of the circuit I'm on, but all I know is the long straight is towards the end, which is longer than the Mulsanne straight at Le Mans, which again is mad. Everything about the circuit, well, we say circuit, it's not a circuit, it's really just a glorified rally stage that looks back on itself. We've strategically gone wide to let the 906 through. I don't know if we carried on there, whether that would have taken us onto a longer variation of the route at that point. So it does seem to be clearing up quite nicely now. Pretty much a dry circuit. As we clip them all again ever so slightly, I'm definitely thinking how much fun this would be in the 906 or Dino 206. This car's just a bit too heavy, a bit too cumbersome, especially on these lovely flowing corners with that backdrop. Turn it something a little lighter for next season. We'll see what cars we can drive for in that. But yeah, I guess a lot has happened since the last video for the 1,000 kilometres in Monza, because I went to the World Endurance Championship 6 hours of Spa, and of course we had an M24 as well, which were both fantastic races. I think if anyone is thinking of wanting to go and experience these hypercars for the World Endurance Championship, I would highly recommend to go and see them, and especially at Spa. I think I went 3 times before. I think 2013, 2018 and 2019, or it might be 2015, I'm not sure. But so it's been So it's been 6 years since I last went. Oh, as we raise the Armco again. Yeah, it's been 6 years since I last went, and since then they've done a lot of work for the circuits. The two giant grandstands, the one that's just before Eau Rouge, the one at the top of Radion. Because before at the top of Radion they used to have that little beer hut thing, and then it would all be mushed up against the railings for the start of the race to watch the cars come up Eau Rouge. And actually, I think you could, you look at those and think, oh, it's almost from like a purist point of view, you could easily mistake thinking, oh, it sort of ruins the atmosphere, But actually, those grandstands add so much more atmosphere, especially if you've got a screen. You've got the screen the other side of the circuit, and I was there watching the qualifying, and just the crowd and probably the couple of beers helped as well, but it was just such a incredible experience. And the circuit itself is fantastic, and all the new facilities as well are absolutely brilliant. There's sort of hardly any queues really for anything, sort of food wise or toiletries or whatever. And also it's my first time driving from the UK over to France, and if you haven't ever driven on the French motorways on the other side of the road, I was shocked to find how easy it was, just the adjustment of being on the wrong side of the road. It didn't really feel like anything at all. And it's 4 hours from Calais, so wherever you have to drive from to get to whatever port, Dover, Portsmouth, yeah, if you get it to Calais, it's a 4 hour drive from Calais, and it's the easiest 4 hour drive you'll probably have to do. So we stayed for the weekend, got an Airbnb. I reckon it was roughly, everything in total, like £500 on Airbnb for 4 nights. The tickets were €65 a piece for the weekend, and the parking was like 45 quid for the weekend. And then fuel to get there, fuel to get back, food, waffles, Fritz and beer, and that's all you need. Maybe look at camping next time just to make it a bit cheaper, but yeah, if you've not been and you want to go, do it. And if you've not been to Spa, do it. It's just, I can't recommend it enough. I shouldn't really recommend it because the rain has just started again. I think it's at the sweet spot of how busy it was. On the Thursday it was dead quiet, it was nice. On the Friday it got a little bit busier, and on the Saturday it was packed. But all the grandstands were free, so you just had to make sure you got there early and sat down and, hunkered down for the day. There we go, I was wondering if the waves were going to kick in. Yeah, all the grandstands were free. On Thursday, you could walk through the paddock. I don't think you could Friday or Saturday if you needed another ticket. But you could see everything you wanted to see in the paddock on the Thursday where it's quiet. And then it would have been so busy on Friday and Saturday, especially Saturday, that it wouldn't really been worth it. So that's my tip. Get the weekend ticket, go on the Thursday, do all the paddock stuff, because you also get to see the Le Mans Legends support race, which had the Peugeot 908, the Porsche Spider, the Lotus Evora. They're all there warming up you can get right in and close. Obviously you've got the Porsche Cup cars down the old start-finish pits, and of course all the hospitality motorhomes from all the WEC manufacturers. Obviously everyone's standing outside Ferrari because everyone wants to see the Ferrari drivers. Also Toyota was quite popular, and Aston Martin. But yeah, do all that on Thursday, which is nice and quiet. And on Friday we walked a bit of the circuit, sat down, had a couple of beers and watched the qualifying. And then for the race, it pretty much takes you, if you're taking photos, it probably takes you 6 hours pretty much to walk around the entire circuit, and have stops every now and again. Because it was boiling, we took a bit longer, and because it's in the forest, there's plenty of shade. Unlike if you went to Silverstone, you'd be baking. So yeah, honestly I can't recommend it enough. Like I said, I shouldn't really recommend it because it's just at that perfect point of it being just that popular, where, say, having been there when it was sort of not as popular in 2015, 2018, 2019, you know, you can walk around the back of the pit garages. I understand that you can't do that, because imagine having, you know, 100,000 people wanting to do the same thing, it just wouldn't work. So I get that sort of gone, and then also having the free stuff on the Thursday, and then sort of restricting it as it gets busier throughout the weekend. I think that makes sense as well. So yeah, I think WC organised it perfectly. The facilities at Spa are excellent. They're the two things I'd recommend to go. Go to Spa, go watch the World Championship. Lucky for us, you can do two things at once. And yeah, certainly gonna plan to go again next year. And also the Spa Classic as well, that is the weekend just gone from this coming out. So this comes out on Monday, so this would have been the weekend just gone, as it's getting quite greasy now. On target we've got the 250 GTO, which is a now class, so that would technically be full positioned, although because it's timed, he's caught up with us throughout this race, so he's obviously running a quick lap time on this lap anyway. We'll see the next lap. I don't think I pointed out that actually Bob Grossman's already done his lap. I can't remember what it is. I think it's like a 36 something. It's quite a decent lap. I think I'll be lucky if it's like a 40-minute lap. I think I'll be quite happy. So but yeah, absolutely go to Spa. Yeah, I was saying the Spa Classic, I think that's certainly one I like to go to. I think the panels was racing, and as much as I love my noughties LMP cars, I've not really seen many, so it would be good to go to some more classic events. And now knowing Spa is only, in total for me, 4 hours from Calais and then another hour and a half from where I live to Dover. Yeah, it's about, probably in total about 6 hours. As we come to our first, is this the first town we've been in? Or have we already been through? Oh no, we went through the first one, didn't we, right at the start? So we're sort of coming to the final stages of this race. As it gets dark again, we'll put all our lights on. Yeah, now I know that Spa's only 6 hours away. It's I think the 24 hours of Spa is on the cards. Spa Classic. Oh dear. That was It didn't go that way, it goes this way. Okay, well, yeah, I think I'll be lucky to get a 40-minute lap time now. Oh yeah, and also I've got the ferry over and the train back. I'd recommend the train. I thought I was okay with boats. Turns out I'm not. The ferry takes about an hour and 40 minutes, and after the first half an hour I was ready to get off. So although the full English on the ferry was not that bad, honestly, I was expecting a lot worse. It was actually pretty decent for what it was. So whether you feel like you can sacrifice a full English to get there, instead of an hour and 40 minutes, only takes 40 minutes on the train. Yeah, I would choose the train again. Le Shuttle. But yeah, the sort of ferry terminal's a bit higher up the coast than the train terminals, but there's not much difference really, and you're talking maybe 10-20 minutes driving between the two. Oh dear. Well, that would have been game over for both of us there, although I think I've had many game overs since before that, so we're still quite greasy out. And I said that was coming to the end of the lap, but it isn't really, because there's another town I think we have to go through, and then it's the massive straight, and then that's the end of the lap. Yeah, and then the Nürburgring 24 Hour, which is again a very good race. Luckily the weather held out and we actually got a full 24 hours in. I think Max did very well. He didn't make the event about himself. He played by the rules. It's almost like he was a sort of, how would I put it, like he was a guest to the event, and so certainly he could have made it all about him and, you know, driven like Max does, quite aggressively. But he, I think he played it very well. It's a shame the drive shaft went. Maybe it was to do with the contact with the team car, but who's to say? But yeah, I think certainly Mercedes had the car to win it. It's a shame about Estra going out on the oil, as well as also it would have been nice to see the Lambos, because they were lightning quick. Certainly they are still and always have been sort of the underdogs in GT racing, even though I really think they shouldn't be now with the Hurricane, although that's now being replaced by the, I can't even remember what it's called, but I've watched it race and I'm not a fan of the new Lambo. I think it's a shame about the Audi as well. It would have been nice to see the Audi finish high up there, because that's probably the last time we're going to see an Audi R8. The factory sport finishes, I think the factory sport already had finished, but I think now, as the GT3 cars continue to be developed, that one isn't, and that's just the way it's going to be. Although I did hear rumours that they were going to bring it back or something, but who knows. Oh, as we clip the wall again, as it dries out again, lovely, I think it's the Mediterranean. Certainly got that blue to it, isn't it? And certainly I think Sicily is definitely a country I'd like to come to. and drive the circuit and just get a higher car. So everyone knows that the fastest car is a higher car. Actually, now I've got one of the Alfa Romeos behind us and one of the 904s behind us. That looks like the final town / village for us to go through, and then it should be the Sweden. Okay. Luckily there's no spectators. I've just noticed actually there are absolutely no spectators. I think I've done my settings a bit wrong, although it does help with frame rate, so I think I'll go with that. So we go wide. I don't know if there's an Alfa Romeo. No, it's back there. Alright, I think we just make our way down this hill, and it's pretty much a straight run towards the mountain. I've completely forgotten what the reference point is for braking, because it's not quite as straight. It then sort of becomes this sort of road again, where it becomes all quite flowy and curvy. And if I'm doing 200 miles an hour, oh, I've got that horribly wrong. Never mind. I'm glad I turned damage off, because we're pretty much there. I say pretty much there. There's this humongous straight to go down. I wonder if this is still here. It must be still there. Oh, it's starting to get a bit wet here again. If you know sound of aquaplaning. Again, that white light comes on. I never worked out what that is. It must be when we go over. Was it 170? Was it? Because I think here is a good time to slow it all down. And I have absolutely no memory of this part. Especially now it's dark, wet, greasy. Really struggling to see what's coming up, not gonna lie. Okay. The Viper's getting faster. I think we must be coming up to the end of the lap soon. And then we can work out who's finished where. I think it is going to be quite interesting. I do believe it will be the 206 and the 906 is up there. I don't know whether 330 P3 is going to be on. I haven't really seen it. So whether they went up before or it's still completing a lap now. And I haven't seen the other Ford France car either, although I did just see a white car in my mirror briefly. Maybe that could be it. Which means he's on a better lap time than we are. Oh no, I remember this bit. Yeah, no, I think we're here, aren't we? There's like a little car park to the right here. We need to go left. And here we go. We have successfully completed a lap of the Targa Florio. Imagine trying to do 10. Well, there we go. Right, let's see what the results are. And as we look at the overall results, we can see that Scafarotti and Parks take the win in the Ferrari Dino 206 ahead of the bigger sister Ferrari 330 P3. The plucky 904 takes third overall, with the Ferrari 275 GTP in fourth, while a name we recognise from our British Sports Car Championship days, it is the Porsche 906 of Peter de Klerk rounding out the top 5. And for our debut here at the Targa Florio, we finished 14th overall and 4th in class, so I would take that any day of the week. Now as we head over to the overall points, we can see that at the top of the field nothing really changes because no one really turned up, but for the P1 class, the Ferrari Dino of Scafarotti and Parks are well ahead now on 24 points. For our class, we remain on top on 22 points, while for the S2 class, the Porsche 904 now takes the lead on 20 points, and for the GT3 class, it's all to play for really against the Ferrari 275 GTPs and the Chevrolet Corvettes. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Do remember that we do have a Discord, Racing Pass Discord, that you can join for liveries, tracks, and just general chat about the good old days. But until the next video, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll catch you next time.